Hey Robert, how you doing? Thank you so much for including your logo examples. Let's go ahead and jump over to your writing. Don't be nervous about this, okay? Because logo design is something that, well, in this particular case, designing logo should maintain a minimal approach and a level of simplicity. And I think that we've covered that explicitly through the first 2 weeks of class. So I think you're on the right track in that regard. But don't be nervous. I mean, yeah, I'll walk you through this. It's not like you're just like, okay, design a logo and that's it. So we'll get through this. So don't be nervous. Okay, everything makes sense here. Everything makes really good sense here. But one thing I would question is this: if you say I wanted to use a sans serif font only, why? And that's the thing you have to continually ask yourself in your logo development is why did I do this? Why did I do this? How does this point to me as a designer? How does this point to my underlying conceptual development? So don't just use a sans serif because you like it or because you think it looks cool. Have a good, solid reason for using a sans serif. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to your examples. Now, I think by process of elimination, we can get rid of a few right off the bat. I think this one is out because these little tiny lines here, they're not going to reproduce well. Plus, you got these really ambiguous letter shapes, and I think they're uncomfortable. So that one's out. This one, my main question is why invert the, or why reflect the D? What is the reasoning behind that? And I can't really think of one. I mean, so I would just say, well, that one's out because you're creating a question to the viewer that isn't answered. So I would remove that one as well. This one I think we can eliminate because of this stroke is just really super random. It doesn't seem to serve any purpose either visually or conceptually. Plus, it's incomplete information. All it is it's a monogram, so it doesn't give your name. It doesn't give any kind of specific information about your discipline either. Okay, this one, I think this one is out because of the reflection. The reflection creates an enormous amount of ambiguity. So, and then this one, I think this one is pretty good, but I think this one is much, much more versatile. I think this is the one that I would recommend moving forward with. What you can try something here that's going to actually be pretty cool, and that is creating typographic variety by including another typeface here. So you said you wanted, you were interested in using a sans serif typeface, and I think the reason there points to a more contemporary feel, whereas a serif typeface kind of alludes to tradition, whereas sans serif kind of alludes to modern contemporary. So I would recommend either using a sans serif for the monogram or for your word and your discipline. And try it. You'll find it. You get some really cool mixes. You could even just do a quick web search on letter combinations or great font combinations or something like that, so you can find out which fonts work well together. Okay, and then also here I recommend this space right here is really ambiguous. I would left align that. I would just pull that over and left align it. Okay, so those are my recommendations. Please feel forward. You move forward. Doing whatever you feel has the most potential. But at this point, I would recommend starting to further develop this. Now, the branding suite isn't due until week 7, right? But the logo should be completed. Now, it doesn't have to be, as long as you understand that if you keep working on your logo, you're going to have to replace the placeholder logo that you use for your resume and your collateral pieces. So keep that in mind. The reason I say that is because please feel free to keep working on this. Now, just if you want to keep working on it and submit it right back in this forum, I'll give you additional critique. If you find yourself working or continue working on your logo up until next week or the week after, or even a week after that, that's fine. Just run it by me, post it somewhere where I'll see it. Use the general questions as opposed to email. That way other students can benefit from the exchange. And what I'm saying here is that don't think that just because this critique for the logo is over that I'm done with your logo. I'm not. I'll be glad to provide further recommendations and suggestions and comments and observations to your logo. So if you're working, I'm working, right? So if you continue working on your logo, just let me know. I'll be glad to provide additional critique. So my recommendation is just to work forward with that one. I think it's clean, contemporary, very minimal, very simplistic. It has all of the characteristics that we're looking for. So I think this is by far the most effective example of the ones that you've shown. Okay, all right, great. If you have any questions or you need further clarification, please let me know. I'll be glad to provide anything in that regard. Thank you very much, Robert.